Somebody in the way, battling, having got in way of the attempted clearance. Jim Gannon. Oh, great flick on Alan Armstrong.
It's against Bradford, but here's Warburton!
Yes!
Oh! And trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, yeah!
Not got it clear. Please, sir! It's a cracker!
Running Armstrong, played in again, and a superb goal!
Tony Goody! Stockport County are the champions of League Two.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Scarf Bagara War with me, Russ Johnson, Stockport County podcast for fans, by fans, in partnership with Edgeley Conservative Club coaches. You even forgot Edgeley there.
You've not been practicing this week, have you?
I would say Kenny Bad not pay you for that one. It's,
Move the mirror.
There you go.
Move the mirror, is that what it is?
Yeah. Sorry about that. No Oppo fan tonight. I'm gonna say the agenda in a minute, but before we go through the agenda, we got Waggy with us. You all right, mate?
Hello, how are we doing?
All right, yeah. How have you been?
Yeah, all good, mate. Busy, but all good.
Good stuff. And returning for his second appearance, which is a brace in football terms, isn't it? I don't know why they call it. If anybody knows why they call it a brace, then do let us know. I'm sure there's a reason for it. It's Michael Shord. You all right?
Good evening, gents, as well. Thank you for having me back on. Obviously, you didn't learn your lesson first time, but I appreciate it. So, there you go.
No worries. Glad to have you back on. I like the goalkeeper shirt that you're sporting. I've got that one myself. The old Paul Jones goalkeeper shirt, is it?
It is, and it's even got the number 1 on the back. I've got, actually, believe it or not, this is my original shirt, so it fit me back in that era. I've got my old Neil Edwards one. I've got me Carlo Nash one as well. So I've got a few from that era that still fit. So
nice. Are they match worn by any chance?
They're not match worn, sadly, as well. So no. It's I wish I did have them, but no. But they're still vintage. They're still my original ones from that season. So a lot of good memories with them as well. So
yeah. Fair enough. Fair dues. Been a pretty busy week by all accounts in the world of Stockport County, or the Stockport County world. Obviously, Leyton Orient. So tonight's show, then we're gonna deep dive into all of it. It's gonna be wall to wall football. Leyton Orient win. Cover a bit about Barnsley. Again, we haven't got an opposition fan on this one. We've done a separate one for that. So that's out now on YouTube. It'll be out as a podcast later on this evening. We're going to deep dive into the transfer window, start discussions on Edgeley Park developments and what that means potentially for maybe ticketing, maybe dispersal of fan groups, where people are going to sit, all that kind of stuff. I'd like to get that sort of going pretty early. And then we've got getting reses. So yeah, if you've got any questions or got anything to comment, please do get involved in the chat. And if you're listening on the audio podcast afterwards, then please do rate and review us and leave us a comment and say hello and all these good things, because we do reply. We are nice people, aren't we? Aren't we, Waggy?
Yes. So you keep telling me. Unless I'm behind the wheel of a car, I'm not a nice person then.
No, you're not. You're not one of them, are you?
I do drive a BMW, so that's part and parcel.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah. I'm not sure if I've asked you this yet, but did you
No,
buy
it's too expensive.
What, the indicator pack?
Indicator package.
Right, yeah.
I got the Harman Kardon stereo instead.
Right. And this is what I love about this podcast is, and the people that listen to it, absolutely brilliant. A brace, John Billsbury, straight in there. 2 game birds are known as a brace. I think that's a winner.
It's from hunting, isn't it? So if you caught like a brace of rabbits or something, so yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, brace of pheasants or something like that. Yeah. And
you're a teacher, Michael, so you definitely know, don't you?
Well, I'm going to assume teacher authority, so I'm going to just claim that as the answer. And yeah, so
fair dues. Right, good.
There's a big green tick. We can carry
100%. Got to be done.
Excellent stuff. Right, Leyton Orient on Saturday then. We'll come to the transfer window in a bit, but Leyton Orient on Saturday. Some say best first half under Charlie. What do you reckon, Waggy? I'll be honest with you. I was otherwise engaged. It was my birthday weekend, so I was looking on Flash Score and getting notifications. I didn't see any of it, so I can sort of step back from this. Waggy, Michael, what went on?
Waggy, do you want to go first, mate?
No, you go first, pal.
I was going to say, so yeah, I have a very understanding girlfriend, but I do have to occasionally spend some time with her at the weekend. So I wasn't in London, but I did have the great pleasure of following the final few minutes on Sky Sports News, apart from on the phone, with my best mate, who's a Huddersfield fan, and obviously they didn't have a good result. We leapfrogged the table, so it was a double win for me. He's got to really rub his nose in it. But no, I've heard from those friends who were there, outstanding, fully deserved. Really, we should have been at least 3 up, I think, half time. Seeing the highlights look like that as well, and then rear guard action, and you've got just on that point, and we may come to it later as well. Is Fraser Huttle going to get back in the team the way Callum Connolly's playing? Because that defensive partnership with Pye is looking extremely solid. So,
and with Noyle as well, those three.
I'm in Noyle.
Yeah, because you can imagine if Noyle wasn't playing well, then he'd go back to Connolly playing right centre back. But
he'd get shifted out.
Noyle and South and Wales look really good down that side, don't they?
Mac has just hit the ground running since he's come back, hasn't he? He just got better and better, and every season he's got better and better. And to come through his injuries, and I don't know if you guys had a chance to see it. There was an interview on the BBC with him the other day about his injury.
I've not watched it yet. I've not watched it. But
What was it? I don't know if it was a video, but there's definitely an article. But yeah, he's obviously he went to some dark places coming back from his injury. And the strength of character he's showing to do it, and then to thrive the way he's doing now, a division up, is testament to his personality.
Yeah, there's a 7-part podcast on it from the BBC. Really, really, obviously, as you'd expect from the BBC, really, really well made. Follows him from. I don't know how they did it actually, because they follow him from the injury. They must have seen him get injured and gone, I think we can do something here, because they're literally from the start. It's amazing, but yeah, really good. I think it's about, I want to say 40 minutes in total, so it's a really good listen. So definitely get on that. Really, really good.
Nice. Yeah, I've not had a chance to listen to it yet, but. Yeah, like the first half, we were awesome. I think we were just lacking being able to get that goal. I think their keeper made 3 or 4 really, really, really good saves. And then second half, defensively, we were amazing. I think that's the best defensive display that we've had under Charlie, because we let them have the ball. They were playing it around the 18-yard box and stuff like that. Apart from one clear-cut chance, I don't think they had a shot on goal.
Really?
We were just resolute everywhere. Just every man knew exactly what they needed to do. And even if we weren't getting it, pinging it down the field and it was coming straight back, but they just couldn't get in behind us. We were just absolutely magnificent for the second half. I said, they had one clear-cut chance, which really should have been a goal, but they didn't have it. And that first half, we should have easily been away and 3 or 4 up. Good to see Wotton getting a goal. Good to see, from a set piece as well. It was eventually from a set piece. It was good. So again, I don't think anybody was under a 7 or an 8. The weird thing I did notice, and I think I put it in the WhatsApp group at the end of the game, was that Hinchliffe got man of the match. He got the highest score, highest rating, and I don't think he made a save.
He didn't do anything. Was that on BBC or was that on FOTMob?
I'm sure it was on FOTMob. Right. He got 8.1, which was the highest score on the. And I'm like, why? What did he do? It's not as if his distribution wasn't amazing. He wasn't command. He was just stood there. He might as well have been knitting. He did nothing. He did absolutely. Those old Harry Enfield sketch where he got the old keeper just stood at the side of it.
Having a tag. Yeah.
He might as well have just done that. But he got the highest rating. He got the man of the match. And I'm like, I don't remember him doing. He definitely didn't have any world class saves.
No.
But quite.
But it's just rewards for him, because he has done so well since he's come back in, hasn't he, as well.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I think Michael, you sort of cut out a bit there. No, he has. He's done really well. But it's this thing with stats. I mean, we tend to look at FOTMob on this show for stats. Starting to think we might move away from that and go to something else if that's what they're going to start doing. It's almost like school ground stuff, isn't it? Oh, you won 1-0 and it was a defensive display, and they're the form team, that kind of thing. It must be the keeper who's man of the match. I'm not sure if that's quite right. FOTMob have thought that, but
didn't. But even if you look at the stats, it was like, I mean, their expected goal was 0.4. They had 8 shots and 1 big chance. And that was it. That was out the whole game. So that's not the keeper making the saves or anything like that, is it? Because that means, for me, the keeper gets man of the match if it is a 1-0 where they've had 18 shots on target.
Yeah, loads of emergency defending. I mean, would you put the win down to that then? Because they are after the last 15 games, they're the form team. Was it that good a defensive display? I know we were good in the first half, but rearguard action in the second half. And what would you put that down to, Mike? Mike, one for you there.
I mean, the fact that they rammed in 6 goals in midweek, I'm not going to lie, I think we were all probably slightly hesitant about the fact we were going there and the thrashing they inflicted at Edgeley Park. I think it's just the fact that we have massively grown in confidence. I say that defensive unit. I mean, I was at Rotherham when Fraser went off injured. We all started to fear the worst a bit in terms of how our defence was going to do. And I think there's just the cohesion and the understanding that back line has got. And obviously with Ben, even though there's been a bit of interchange or between who's sitting in front of them, whether it's Norwood or Campsey or Bate, they haven't been affected by it, and so it's been the most settled part, arguably, of the team for this season, as well as that defence, and it really showed in a game like that. So, yeah. And just picking up as well, Waggy, you mentioned something before about Horsfall not getting back in, or was it you, Mike? I can't say in terms of whether or not you always say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And at the minute, our defence ain't broke. So and you never thought you'd say we wouldn't want Fraser back in the team, and I do want him back in the team. But at the minute, who gets dropped for him? So yeah, exactly. Because Noyle at right centre back. I mean, he had his critics when he played right centre back the first time he played there. He looks like he's mastered that new position, to coin football manager terms. That releases Macca to do what he needs to do. It's almost like upsetting the apple cart if you bring Fraser Horsfall back in and shove Connolly to the right centre back, doesn't it? Yeah, it is. And obviously, it's a great problem to have. Don't get us wrong, as and when he's due back in. I know it's not for a few more weeks, but that's testament, I think, to the fact that players have been told, look, you need to now start stepping up. You're in the team. It's your duty now to wear that shirt, to go out, put a shift in, and these guys are doing it. So, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, bit of a shout out for Wootton as well, because he's got his critics. I think it's a tough one. Andy's one of them, isn't he? We had a long discussion on the way to Crystal Palace about Wootton, and my sort of bottom line is, or sort of end of conversation thing is, well, who else you going to go and get? We play with that sort of striker, don't we? That target man. Is there anybody better out there at the moment for this level? Possibly not. But are they free? I just think he does a really good job. I think loads of it goes unnoticed. Yes, he spends half the time in headlocks, but that's part of his game, isn't it? And for him to get a goal, I think Phil Lloyd mentions it here. Really pleased for Wootton, because he's copped some unnecessary stick recently. But fair. I mean, are you what's in, what's out? Sorry, is that for me or Wacky? Sorry. Yeah, here for you, Mike. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I mean, if you judge a striker by the metric of scoring goals, he's definitely underperformed. However, like you said, if you watch him during a match and the amount he sets up, the amount he frees other strikers, obviously Louis Barry before him, obviously Tanto or Will Collar bursting through, setting little flicks. He's very acute. He's very cute, pardon me, at times with some of his movement and his little flicks. He's not just a battering ram. And Charlie wouldn't be picking him. He certainly would be making him captain if he didn't have value to the team. So I'm not a critic of him. Yeah, sure, I'd love him to get a few more goals, but it's not like he's missing glaring chances week in, week out. So what he brings to the team, I'm more than happy for him to stay in there for now. Yeah, it's to say it's almost, it's like when we used to talk about Croasdale, isn't it? Croasdale was just there and he just did what he did. Yeah. And I think that, because I suppose in a different ways, because Woods is a striker, you want him to be scoring goals, but it's
he brings everybody else into the game. He gets the ball, holds the ball up, has the occasional wrestle, just as a bit of holds on the line crew, just has a bit of a wrestle with their centre back again. So there's a lot of stuff like that, and it's just because he's not scoring goals and because we're not crossing balls, and he's not scoring that way, which is what we all expect much, but we don't play that way, really, do we? We don't really play for crosses as such. We try to play through teams more than that, and I think he's integral of that is by getting the ball, holding the ball up, and bringing players in or having players running off him. So
yeah, defo. There's some comments coming in. I'm going to push some of these up. Silomas. Not many strikers get 20 to 30 goals these days. It's pressing forwards and inverted wingers. They get all the big goals now. Probably go with that. Yeah, I mean, definitely go with that. Claire Jeff's evening. She doesn't trust people who don't rate Woods. That's a good one. And then Phil Lloyd's going Woods in 110%. Didn't Carlton Palmer once say that in a post-match interview? He said the lads gave 110%, and you can't ask for more than that. You can't ask for more than 100%, really, Carlton. I mean, let's face it.
I was going to say, if you're going to go 110%, you might as well just go 111. You might as well just keep stacking up then. So it's once broken that rule.
Yeah, definitely. And then Worsley comes in, says, Woods is a very clever footballer player, doesn't get the credit for his intricacy in his play. I always find it hard to say that word, intricacy. Intricacy. And speaking of Worsley, have you seen my mug? This is for the audio listeners. It's a Stockport County design mug. Let me bring it into the light there. You can see that. Urban Sip. Get yourself to Urban Sip on Etsy. And those mugs are there. Look at that. Nice county design one. Happy days. Belting, innit? Good stuff. Anything more about Leyton Orient?
No. We went and did a job.
And I think it's a statement win as well, because
yes,
before kickoff, I'd have happily taken a draw, absolutely. And to go there and get a win and a clean sheet, I think that's a platform to really, really start to build on now. And we'll see where the season goes from here.
Yeah, you see, I thought if we'd have won, it'd have been a statement win. Charlie said no, didn't he? When JK asked him if it was a statement win, he said no. I mean, it's kind of. I think he's got to say that just to temper.
He always plays things like that down, though, doesn't he?
He
never gets too high when we win. Yeah, never too high when we win or too low when we lose.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm saying it. I'm going to say it, and I'm going to agree with you, Michael. Statement win for me. They're form team, and we go and put in a display like that. A part of me thinks it's on a meter. It's on a meter. It's just not gone up a bit of a notch. Do you know what I mean? It's starting to.
He's starting to get giddy again.
Yeah, it's starting to buzz a bit. I mean, it's on a meter.
It sets it up nicely for when we get a 93rd minute winner against Wrexham in the playoff final. So that's what
Don't. We've got to go there yet, haven't we? And I'm sort of debating whether I just don't bother or not.
It'll be a victory to them, won't it? No matter where either of us are in the league or what is happening, it's the same for every season. We win at our place, they win at their place.
Yeah,
that's true.
So that's the way it is.
And just coming back to big strikers, and we'll come to the transfer window, I guess now. Sam Cosgrove, who's come in, I spoke to Red All Over podcast again. That's going to be out soon. Oh, it's out on YouTube now. Andy on there basically said, without me saying what Woods was like, he said Sam Cosgrove is 6'4" and spends most of his time grappling with defenders and gets free kicks against him all the time.
So he's Woods.
Yeah,
what's version 2, I guess. Yeah. I don't mean an improved version. I just mean a clone of Woods. Yeah.
You presume he's been brought in just to give Woods a bit of a break more than anything as well. And they obviously, I know he's got some pelters off their fans, but you know what? When Odin Bailey came in, everyone was like, "Fuck's this guy? Why we signed him?" We were all underwhelmed, and then obviously look what he did. I'm not saying Sam Cosgrove's going to do the same, but let's at least give him till the end of the season, see how he does as well.
Yeah, we've got to see him kick a ball. We've got to see him play the game and see how he is. As I say, we've had, as you say, Bailey coming in, and obviously I will mention his name, Barry. He wasn't very good at other places, was he? He didn't have very good loan spells before he came to us. So it's right player for the right team, basically. And if he is, as you say, a what's 2, then he fits in perfectly. And he'll give What's a couple of nights off.
And if he can link up as well, say with Tanto or those pushing forward on the wings, then we're onto a good thing again, because we're presumably not bringing him in necessarily for his goal scoring threat. Given his goal scoring record, it's what he offers in that Wood style. So,
yeah, definitely. And you've almost, I won't say blindly trust, because they do get it wrong, don't they? The club in terms of recruitment, sometimes, but you've got to trust it when they come in, and especially when Simon Wilson's saying things like he sort of fits all the attributes that we need for that position in the pitch and the style that we play. Yeah. So hopefully he does well. I mean, everybody deserves a chance. I think he was sold for 2 million, if I'm right in saying.
I think Aberdeen sold him for 2 million, didn't they? They bought him for something like 200,000, I think, and sold him for 2 mil.
Yeah. So it's players don't get sold for 2 million and the bobbins, basically. So
true.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the others then. So I think if my count is right, 7 out, 5 in.
Yes.
So Onyango and Adaramola, they're both out, and they haven't been. There's kind of no replacement for them. I can't remember who did it. Was it Over the County Culture did a really good tweet?
Culture. Yeah, he did it. So Stretton out, Cosgrove in, Fiorini out, Moxon in, Hughes out, Hills in.
Brad Hills.
Yeah. Who else has gone? Oh, Barry out, Hamilton in.
Yes.
And
Brecky.
Brecky is in here.
Yeah. Who did he say he was sort of replacement for? Stretton? No, said Stretton was Cosgrove, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was. But yeah, 5 players in, 7 out, 5 in. I think
I can't remember what was the game where Hamilton came on as a sub and he looked very lively at Edgeley Park. It was a couple of games back. I don't think we played now. But he looked lively from the minute he came on. He was one of those players who was like, get him on the ball. He wasn't hiding away. He wasn't standoffish. He wanted to get involved and run at people. And, that's what we want. That's what we want to see from some of our players. So,
yeah. Silomus has just said it, Melon.
Melon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Melon. So should we go through them one by one then? Should we start? Let's start with. I mean, we don't need to. We've done Anderson, haven't we? I think we probably don't need to do that. But let's look at Hamilton. So I'll get something up on the screen in a second if I can. So Hamilton, yeah. So his primary position is sort of that left inside forward or inverted winger or whatever you want to call it, isn't it?
He's been starting on the right. When he's not starting, but when he's been coming on, he's been going on to the right a lot, most of the time.
Yeah, and he can't play there. So let me share my screen. Go on, you carry on.
Yeah, as I say, you can't. He's only played 20 minutes each time, hasn't he? And he came on against Leyton Orient, but as I say, it was just we were backs to the walls, and it was just trying to be. He brought him and Diamond on to try and create a bit of a nuisance and to have somebody that's quick to get up the field and try and get the ball and try and keep the ball up the field a bit. But we just didn't have that. We weren't able to do that. So he's not really played. You can't really. Wow, market value 3.1 million euros. Wow, didn't expect him to be that far up, but
no. Put a huge asterisk on that though, because it is FOTMOB. So, but you're right. He looked lively. Gazendo said it was Crawley that he looked lively against. They're very, very sort of Jack Diamond-esque, I think. Low center of gravity. Looks like he's good with both feet. As you can see, there says plays on the left and the right as well. I thought he came on the left. I don't know. I don't remember him being on the right, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he came on and played there at against Shrewsbury, and definitely against Leyton Orient. He tended to be on the right, and Diamond went on the left.
Right. Okay.
No left.
Hey. Funny you, mate. So that's Hamilton. We'll end this with Moxon because I think he's the most exciting one.
Yes.
So who's the other one? It was Hills, wasn't it?
Brad Hills.
Brad Hills.
Yeah.
So Brad Hills, here we go. So obviously centre back. You've got to say, and I said this on the radio the other day, I think he's just cover. We've not, like you said before, Michael, we've not got issues in defence. Horsfall's going to come back at some point. I think he's cover, rotation, that kind of thing. Players getting tired. The games are going to come thick and fast, aren't they?
And I think it's cover in terms of, because as well as our defence is playing, if one of them goes down, who is the next man up, particularly in the centre? And we're a bit short on that at the minute, which is exactly why, obviously we've brought him in. And, again, let's see how he does. I mean, whether he'll feature on Saturday, I'd imagine be on the bench. I can't see him being starting, obviously, but and maybe come on. Hopefully, he'll get a chance for a run out when we're a goal or two up and seeing out the game and get a bit of confidence in his debut.
Yeah, I was going to say he comes with apparently the Accrington manager last year said he's the best loan signing he's ever had. I think he was the player of the year or was he?
He was a player of the year. I don't know who voted him, whether it was the players or the fans, but he did win a player of the season award there. Yeah.
So again, it's the natural progression, isn't it? You play well in League Two, you go up to League One, see how you can do there. But I'm not sure he's going to get many games. As you say, I think it's just he might get the odd 20 minutes here when we're 3 or 4-0 up against somebody and he wants to rest a couple of players, bring him on. But I don't see, unless somebody gets injured, touch wood, that's not going to happen. I don't see him starting many games.
As long as he's more successful than Reece Bennett, he'll have worked out well. So,
yeah, this is true.
All of us, yeah.
Yeah. We've already covered Sam Cosgrove, but just for fullness, there it is. So striker, primary strike, 910 grand market value. We were throwing coins into a pot in the Cheadle end around the ground for Jim's wages budget, weren't we? Not long ago. Look at that now. We're getting players on loan that are worth a million plus. Again, people have pointed out with Cosgrove as well that his goal scoring record isn't great wherever he's been. Maybe Aberdeen, with the exception, I guess, a bit for Plymouth, but the rest, again, I don't know. Maybe he's not that type of striker, but this was. I must admit.
Go on, Ross. You carry on.
Sorry, I was gonna say the reaction on. Specifically X, because that's what I saw the reaction on. I thought it was a bit unfair, but I was underwhelmed with this one.
Yeah,
I hope he proves me wrong.
It was. I think everybody was, because earlier in the day we'd signed Hills, and he said our first signing of deadline day, and then they shared the video, didn't they, of 9 o'clock-ish of Dave Chapman looking at his watch and going, "Not time for bed yet, County fans." You're like, oh, this must be a big one if we've got Charlie to stay and do that type of thing. And then they announced Cosgrove. So, I was a bit like, oh, is that? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, we'll get behind him. Look at what he's like. And as you said, maybe he's not a prime goal scorer. He's a Wootton, as we've just discussed the attributes of Wootton. I think this guy's got exactly the same. And I was slightly, when I seen it and I thought, oh, is that it? And it was just like, and then they shared the picture, didn't they, of the two of them together and said, good deal, good business for the transfer deadline. And then 5 minutes later, so far. And then it was like,
on
11 o'clock.
That was so exciting. Normally on school night, I'm tucked up at like 9:30 after a cup of cocoa. But no, I was wired until well after 11 with especially when we saw who the signing was. So it was worth staying up for that. Yeah,
absolutely. And here's definitely the Chuffy badge one. Everyone needs a Chuffy badge for this one, don't they? Yes. Owen Moxon. Or is it pronounced? Has it got a Dutch pronunciation for his name? Because didn't he fly over from Holland on the Vita jet? Was that not the one? Did you see that? For those that don't know, there was a Vita jet. as in, I guess it's Stott's private jet or whatever,
No,
flying from Holland.
The registration of it was G-Vita. So they have the letters at the back of the planes.
Yeah.
So the last 4 letters is Vita. That's it. It's like a call sign. So it was G-Vita, which is a private jet which is flying over from Holland. So everybody put 2 and 2 together and got 17.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because there was people actually scouting the teams that were local to the airport where it had taken off from to try and find strikers we were possibly signing, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. That was brilliant.
It's just the madness of the transfer. When then we all go a bit gaga trying to figure out who's going to come in. So no, but that's an absolutely top draw side in those days.
Yeah. I think we was after him, wasn't we? When Carlisle beat us in the playoff final, I believe we were after him then, weren't we? But he went to Portsmouth instead. So I think we were after him when he went to Portsmouth, and he's done all right. And again, you can tell how good a player he is because a lot of the Portsmouth fans are gutted. One, that he's gone to full stop, and secondly, that it's not just a loan deal because they still thought that he could play in that team.
Yeah.
So when you see the reactions like that, but yeah, he was man of the match, wasn't he? At Wembley, I think he played really well in both games against us in that season as well. So yeah, absolutely superb player, and he just, as you say, him and Bate next to each other, I think could look really, really good. And whether or not that means that you have like either Norwood sitting behind them two, or you have a Powell Camps that sit in front of them two, just behind the back, the front 3. So I think that's because in his interview he said, "Describe yourself," and he goes, "Yeah, I like to put a tackle in," doesn't he?
Yeah, loads of the Portsmouth fans have said that, haven't they? That he likes a tackle.
Yeah, which is good. As I say, is this? And I know people keep going on about, is this our Crowsdale 2.0?
Yeah. But Michael, can I call you Mike, by the way? Just easier.
Honestly, either's fine. Either's fine. Sorry, yeah.
Right. So, Mike, have we got an embarrassment of riches now in midfield? They can't all play. You've got Camps, Norwood, Powell when he comes back.
Yeah.
Bate, now Moxon. I've probably forgotten. Oh, well, I don't know if I've forgotten anybody there. I don't know. But yeah, what do you think? Who plays for you?
I mean, it's definitely an embarrassment of riches. There's no question of that. I think it's the most exciting part of our squad at the minute. Obviously, we've got the settled back 4, back 5, whatever. But no, it's like, who's going to fit in? Honestly, I don't know. I'm going to be really excited to see who starts on Saturday, because obviously Moxon's he's not coming off an injury or anything. I don't think he'll be chucked straight in. I can see him coming off the bench. But yeah, like you said, that just the possible combinations there as well. I personally, I think it will be Bate in there when he's fit, because he's been the captain. I think Campsey's just been so metronomically good. Not outstanding, but like 7.5, 8, pretty much every performance. And Norwood, I mean, he can frustrate at times. There's no question of that. Sometimes he's a bit too backward. Sometimes his shots hit the corner flag and so on, or the scoreboard. But again, it's just, it's really exciting. It's really exciting to see who's going to go in as well. But personally, I'd have Bate in there. I'd have Campsey in there. And then Moxon and Norwood coming off the bench, potentially one or both of them on Saturday, depending on the game situation. But again, like I said, you could potentially shoehorn 3 of them in. So,
yeah, Waggy, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think because they've signed him on a 3.5-year contract, haven't they? For an undisclosed fee. I think that looking forward, it's Bate and Moxon to be our central midfielders.
Do you not think? Sorry, just to cut in there. Do you not think they're two similar players, though? Two defensive-minded players. You wouldn't play them both together, would you not? Throw that in there.
I can't see them not playing together. I can't see them not being in the team. I know we've just said about like using Norwood to Camps and stuff, but I don't see that those two players are too good to be rotating. one game Bate plays, one game Moxon plays, next game Bate, Mox, it's that's not going to work. I think they're both there to play together. And then that gives us the centre of the park, stability in the centre of the park. And then we have like the attacking players, because as you said, that back five is really solid. Them two in between. And then you have the attacking flair that these two just get the ball, ping it out, or wherever it's going, start spraying the ball, and then we're away. So I think he's definitely one for going into the team. And I think maybe rotate with Norwood coming off the bench or Camps coming off the bench, unless we're playing a Camps or Powell in front of them, depending on what style we're going to play, which way we're going to play.
Would you start him on Saturday?
No. I don't think so. Because, well, I'm not looking at him in training. I don't know how sharp he is. You know what I mean? If he's coming in sharp and off the get-go, I think there's a possibility that he might start on Saturday.
Oh, fair dues. Yeah, I say, listen, again, it's a bit like when Fraser's fit and he's coming back. It's good problems to be having, that's for sure. Given the spate of injuries we've had, the horrendous run of injuries, it's brilliant to now have kind of our cup runneth over with talent at the minute, and there's no question of that. Yeah, absolutely. Some really good comments coming in as well. Too many to put up, actually, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, this has been mentioned more than once. Andy Bullock says, are they planning in case Bate leaves in the summer for probably a hefty profit? I would think if we don't go up. I think if we go up, I mean, because that is a realistic thing now, isn't it? I mean, it always has been, I suppose, with the start we've had. If we go up, we keep him, don't we? We keep these players that we've got that we're investing in. Do you know? I think. Go on, Maggie. Sorry.
No, you're right. No, carry on. You
I was just going to say we've actually been fortunate compared to some of the teams who've gone up. Obviously, like Crawley and Mansfield, be two obvious ones. I know Wrexham, obviously, a slightly different case. We haven't had any players poached by competitors or higher league teams. Obviously, Louis Barry Park was never our player, but we're now starting to attract attention because of the brand of football we're playing, because of the talent we're bringing in. And if Bate does get sold on, like I said, presumably for a hefty chunk, potentially even with a sell-on clause, then there's clearly succession plan in place as well, which is why Moxon presumably is on a 3.5-year contract.
Yeah. Where's Lampard in charge?
Coventry.
Because there was rumours of Coventry coming in for Bate, wasn't there, in the transfer?
Oh, right,
window.
was there?
Right. Again, I think it wasn't from one of those 60 followers accounts that do the randomizer for picking team transfer player and whatever. But I think there was rumours, because I think he was, when Lampard was under 21 manager at Chelsea, I think he was there then, so he knows him and sees what he's like. So again, as I say, it is just a rumour. But if he plays well, then we're there for making a big profit out of him, aren't we?
I think that's the model, isn't it? So I think we need to expect that we're going to make profit on the players that we do develop, and they do attract the bigger clubs. I mean, just one last word on the transfer window. Obviously, Pye stayed. There was maybe talk of him going, I don't know where, but I mean, it was certainly in the back of my mind. He's potentially one that will be sold for a lot of money. I think we need to prepare ourselves for that time, because when it does happen, it's going to smash the record probably of whatever we've done in the past. So is it 1.8? I want to say something like that.
1.6, wasn't it, for Armstrong to Ipswich?
Was it 1.6? Right. Yeah.
I think it was around that. It was around that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, again, I think even adjusted for inflation, I think Pye will top that as well. It's just because he's young, he's so talented. And again, a left-sided centre back is, real rare gem.
Centre back. Yeah.
Did you say Ipswich? It was.
I thought Ipswich. Someone said Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough. Yeah.
Because he went and scored past bloody Bayern Munich or something in Europe, didn't he? Or was that for Ipswich? I don't know. He did play for Ipswich though, didn't he?
He was playing for Ipswich. I remember him playing for Ipswich in Europe, playing against AC Milan. Yeah.
Gazendo says the biggest difference now is show us the money. Absolutely. So you can add a county tax, can't you, onto these things? Well, that's great, isn't it? Not having to sell sell-on clauses just to get by.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mad, innit?
how things have changed.
Yeah, love it.
They really have,
I'm
yeah.
loving it. Okay, let's move on. Before we move on, we are going to do the Patreon January giveaway. A bit late for that, but stick around for that if you're a Patreon. You're going to be on the wheel and you will win anything off our Etsy store up to the value of 30 quid. So stick around for that. And do please drop the video a like if you're watching it on YouTube. Really does help us. And yeah, get involved. Excellent stuff. Now, next topic. I wanted to cover something that I wanted to get out there early, and this is the EP developments and the future of Edgeley Park. No real sort of agenda at the moment. Not that probably there would be any agenda, but kind of thing. Where I'm going with this is I listen to The Price of Football a lot, as everybody probably knows and probably listens to it themselves. They talk a lot about ticketing and overseas investors coming in and pushing the legacy fan out, shall we say, the ones that don't watch on the telly, the ones that go to the matches, because the ideal football fan for these bigger clubs is that you have a tourist who comes, spends loads of money in the club shop, pays for the ticket, buys all the food and drink, and then basically pisses off. We're seen as basically a hindrance, and I don't want us to go down that route with Edgeley Park, because as it starts to build up and we attract outside interest, and there's been rumours of outside investment to get us to the next level. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Would you be happy with it going down that way? Or if you weren't, how would you combat that? Michael, I know it's a lot to take in, but what do you reckon to all of that?
I mean, it's I mean, I don't know where you guys sit. I now sit on the pop side, and so we're actually quite close to where obviously some of those incidents with the security's been happening as well, which is another matter. But there's definitely noticeable that we are getting more and more, but compared to basically zero overseas fans. And I think County can potentially have that in terms of, we're going to get, day trippers coming through, and it's, let's not kid ourselves. If they're putting money into the club, that is no bad thing. And if we're getting fans coming over who are maybe coming off to watch City United on a Sunday, but they think, let's go and watch another game, catch up the game first. Well, who's in town, who's good? Well, County are, because we're flying. That's all well and good. And if they then go back, they buy a shirt, they buy souvenirs, it's all good. Obviously, what we don't want is, ending up like, Premier League teams where it is just, we're just a cash cow. And you know what? If someone else is willing to pay 66 quid to pull a figure out of the air, then, sod the local fans. Obviously, I don't think we'd ever get that. I mean, Stott, as long as he's as the owner, I don't think he'd ever allow that. Obviously, St. Steve Bellis will never allow that either, as well. But it's always in the back of your mind as well. But I don't honestly think that will happen with County. Maybe I'm being optimistic, but yeah.
I don't think we'll ever be big enough to be that way.
No.
I think we still, even if, obviously I'm talking pipe dream, even if we are a Premier League team, we will still not be that way. I don't see us being big enough to be like that.
Is that because we're not attractive enough, though? Are we in this sort of not neutral zone? Let's call it a optimal zone where we're not that attractive that we'll get an influx of loads of day trippers coming to watch the match, eating hot dogs and all this kind of stuff. But we're not that unattractive that people don't come, will sell out, and it'll generally be, let's call them sticky fans who want to come to that comes to the match because they support County. I've got no issue with people coming day trippers and all that. You have to have that to grow your fan base, clearly.
I think the way that we'd grow it. Sorry, Russ, you
No, go on.
I was going to say, I think the way that we grow it, the way that we aim stuff is quite possibly is picking up those disgruntled Man United fans or Man City fans. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
People that are pissed off at spending 66 quid, or they've not been able to go for a game for 5 games and they get the season ticket taken off them. You know what I mean? It's silly shit like that. And I think they would be the ones that start getting pissed off with the big Premier League clubs and then start thinking, oh, well, where else can we go and watch? And the next best thing is like, say, is County at the moment. We're flying And yeah, Phil Lloyd, very good point. As long as they don't wear another team's colours, that is absolutely spot on. It is. We've obviously moaned about this a lot on the podcast over the last 12, 18 months. But yeah, as I say, I think possibly that's where maybe not, as you say, getting these foreigners coming over as such, but maybe we'd sort of pick more into that sort of market of the, the City. Well, mainly, I'd say more United fans because City can't sell out the ground anyway, can they? So
that's true. I mean, I say that there's huge scope for it. Let's see where we are once the ground's completed into, the development's completed, whatever that may be, in terms of what division are we in, hopefully Championship, how are we performing? Because obviously at some point, we're not going to continue a constant upward trajectory. At some point we'll hit a plateau and hopefully not then have a drop off a cliff as well. And then, will those fans stay if, say we're battling for 13th, 14th in the Championship? Hopefully the majority will, if that is to be our level that we reach. But again, it's, bring people in. There's no bad thing. And, like you said, we'd rather not have fans of other team coming in wearing their colours. I suppose we're talking about City and United. If someone comes in a Barcelona kit, I don't really care, to be honest, for example. But it's, if they then, again, they're putting money into the club. If they want to do it, all right, I might stare daggers at them, but, they'll still be welcome to come in. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think the conversation slightly diverted towards our day trip as well. I'm not saying that they're absolutely welcome. I'm thinking more strategically, sort of longer term. When, let's face it, we're going to be in the Championship. I think it's going to happen. We may even have a flirt with the Premier League, and that's when, especially if you get overseas investors, say it's Americans, and there has been rumours of Americans. I think there's been rumours of others as well. If it's Americans, they see a seat as a seat. You're just taking up a seat, so your prices rise, and then that prices out the locals, and then that becomes. And it happens to the massive clubs. It's happening. I just don't want it to happen to us on a sort of a smaller scale. And you know what? Liverpool are now there's fan groups in Liverpool who are campaigning to protect the Kop because they don't want the Kop to be diluted and the atmosphere that the Kop creates. They don't want that to be diluted. Great, you can bring people in as long as they get involved, but it has to be kind of local people, really, Liverpool fans who are through and through.
Yeah, maintain that heritage. I mean, so I suppose if you want to look at a model, and I'm not sure, I've not heard talk about this at some point or been mentioned in relation to it, is someone like Brentford or Brighton in the Premier League. Small club, whatever their capacity is, 25,000. I suppose Bournemouth as well, because they've got a small ground. And just, punching above the weight, but sustainable. They're still selling clubs. They're not going to win the Premier League, they're not going to win the Champions League. All right, they might be in for a cup or something like that. And if we got to something like that level, that'd be an absolute dream if we did that as well. Because you'd rather have that than say, go up for a season, even if you did like a Luton, who obviously had a great season, just missed out. But then, look at them now, that they're really slumping as well. So, but I also wouldn't sell on. Because we know he's not a county fan first. He is a City fan, but fair play to him. He's put his money where his mouth for county, and he's obviously really fallen in love with us. But he won't sell us down the river, I think, as well. He will want to make sure that his stewardship continues with whoever comes in after him, because someone will come in after him, because that's the nature of football.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just a comment here from Worsley makes a good point. Circa 18 capacity. That's what the club have said. When it's all complete, more than enough to accommodate local fans and overseas fans. Yeah, and I think as we're having this discussion, and I'm sort of it's evolving in my mind as I think about it. I do think more and more we're in that sweet spot where it can't get to. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like it's for all of us, and we can accommodate as many day trippers really as we need to.
I think the day you get worried is when Steve Bellis leaves the job.
Yeah.
Because
he's going to leave at some point. Yeah,
he is going to leave. Yeah, but I think it's depending on who owns us, where we're at the time, and when Steve Bellis goes. Because I think one of Mark Stott's statements was he's brought Steve Bellis in to keep the connection between the fans and the club. To make sure what Stott's doing is what County would do, not just what he's thinking as a businessman. So he's keeping, he's not being wild with his things to make it sure that it stays as county from the National League, but making sure that we're still Stockport County and we still have our identity with the community and everything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. Yeah, go on. Someone else may step up to that.
I was going to say, should we start a GoFundMe to keep Steve Bellett alive?
Should we build like a Lenin-style mausoleum, like they have in Red Square or something, for him, just to keep him there? Maybe with Vernon Bear next to him, so something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we just put him in the outfit, Vernon Bear's outfit, and then he can stay forever.
Just wheel him round on the outfield for each game. Yeah.
Good stuff. Right. Let's move on. Time's cracking on, as we say every single week. Getting reses. I'm going to struggle for this, but let's do it anyway.
Getting the reses.
Come on, getting reses.
Getting reses.
Getting reses.
That's rubbish. Getting reses.
I'm not having that. Getting reses.
Has anything this week pissed you off about football? Anyone?
I'll
Mike.
go first.
Go on, Mike. Go on.
Sure about, because did I put the getting second yellow cards? I put that in last week, didn't I?
Yeah.
I ranted about that last week, didn't I? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've noticed there seems to be quite a few managers now that seem to be, when they're on the touchline, is crouching down and watching the game from like a toddler's point of view. And I'm like, what? How is that giving you a better perspective of the game? Because all you can see is knees and shin pads. How is that going to give you? Surely, if you want a better perspective of the game, you go up into the stands so you can. Because I think Allardyce used to do it, didn't he? He used to sit up there for the first half, watch how he was playing out, and then come down.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Second half, and then he could plan around that. But there's quite a few managers now that seem to be crouching down and watching the game for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes from crouching and they're like that. That's like really concentrating. How can you see jack all from there? You know what I mean? What do you think?
Yeah.
You got your tactics made by a toddler, so you're like, oh, how's this going to work? Oh, I can see it now. Oh, yeah, he wants us to play like that. I don't understand it. And I know, like Balesi used to have his little stool, didn't he, where he used to sit down?
He did,
Yeah, his little elephant's foot.
Yeah. Sat on a bucket.
Sat on a bucket. Yeah, Phil Lloyd makes a good point. Maybe he's checking if they've got shinnies like Tanto. Yeah, if Charlie ever does it.
Did you see somebody? Did you see Tanto's? Was it on Instagram or whatever? Where somebody had sent him some pink shin pads, some massive pink shin pads. Did you not see that?
I saw one wearing cricket pads. Yeah. So
no, somebody apparently had sent him. I mean, it was apparently it was very, very bad English in what he put in it for his sentence. Right. But somebody had sent him a big pair of like pink shin pads.
Brill.
Yeah, I just don't get it. I don't understand how that's giving you a better perception of the game and reading of the game.
Yeah, no, it's been odd.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
as well.
Yeah. Anything for you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's not particularly one from this week, and it might just be because where I'm sitting now, I'm on the second row. My dad and I are on the second row. It's stewards standing up when it gets to injury time in front of fans. Because, let's be honest, when was the last time there was a non-celebratory pitch invasion at Edgeley Park? It doesn't happen. And all they're doing then is annoying fans, because fans are saying, can you please move? And I appreciate, they've been told to stand up, but why do you stand up during injury time? What's happening during injury time specifically that's going to make fans run on the pitch that they didn't do earlier in the game, or they can just wait till full time? So that's my one little gripe, just because I know it affects me. I know it affects others who like people like my dad or the others who maybe can't stand up as easily because they can't stand up to look over the stewards. And it's just there's no obvious reason for doing it. So it's not a major gripe, but it's just a little bugbear of mine. So
that's quite strange because in front of the Cheadle end, they all stay crouched. I mean, there's like an army of them that come out like on 85 minutes and create almost like a human wall, but they all stay crouched until the full-time whistle.
Well, that's it. It's in front of the family stand, and it's just you think of all the stands.
You know what it's like in the family stand.
Oh well, that's what I said to the heavy squad, isn't it? So it's as well. So. Anyway, that's the subject. I think you've already covered that, don't you? Yeah.
All high.
I don't want to get fans or say anything about that. So it's
Yeah, that can get in the reses. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they were just following orders. Well, they're just following orders, aren't they?
Yeah, we had a big discussion about them last week, didn't we? I think there's quite a few new stewards, not just the security company, but I think there's a new stewards that don't fully understand what it is, because we were saying, and I sit on the edge of upper tier, like at the end of upper tier 3, but near upper tier 4, near the stairs, and there was a steward that basically she stood up on the top of the stairs in front of everybody, and we're like, look, just go down 2 or 3 stairs so your head's not sticking up. And she's like, no, I've been told I've got to stand here. It's like, but we can't see the football. This is why we're here. And she's like, and eventually the supervisor came up and told her to shift.
Yeah, well, that's good common sense, isn't it? But I was going to say, it almost ties to what Russ was saying before about, the expansion of the club. Obviously, we will get, therefore, more staff in who may not necessarily, they're just there for a payday. They're not there just because they're footy fans. And there'll be some teething problems. But to be fair to council, they've always taken these things on board, and the situations tend to improve fairly quickly as well. So,
yeah. Oh, definitely. There's a few. I know that there's a couple of getting the reses. Gazendo says FOTMob can get in the reses. I think it's probably. That's going to get reviewed as part of the stat provider for this podcast. And then he comes in again and says, "Now you probably need to elaborate on this. Orient TV can get in the reses. Do your effing research."
I'm guessing he watched the Orient stream. I didn't. I watched JK, so
right. I didn't watch the Orient stream either. So,
I mean, yeah, they're probably pronouncing names wrong, or did they say Did they say Bailey was on loan from Salford? Was that Orient?
Yeah, yes, I heard that.
In the last. Yeah, somebody has definitely said.
Yeah,
Bailey on
players'
loan
names
from
again. He
Salford.
says it's players' names. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I will say in their defence is we've still got a fair number of fans, and to be fair, I did it until probably 3 seasons ago, saying Hinchcliffe. So we can allow the odd commentator slip as well. But
but if they do the research,
really
though,
help about that.
Yeah, some people do. Yeah, if they do the research, though, there's more than one podcast that will help. If they just message them, I'm sure we'll all help. And if a commentator does, a Sky commentator messages me sometimes, say, "What's this player called?" What a bit of advice, that kind of thing. Why can't they just contact either us or some of the other podcasts, or just put it out onto X? Just. I think
JK's been getting quite a bit of stick lately. I think he's quite imbalanced. He's quite balanced. When you listen, like Gazendo said, when you listen to like Leyton Orient, they are everything Leyton Orient. We scored a goal and it's like, oh my God, Leyton Orient should have done this, they should have done that. It's not because we played really good football and we broke them down and played a really good set piece. It's nothing to do with that. It's what Orient didn't do. And they really, really are unbelievably biased. Whereas I think, if I wasn't a Stockport County fan, I could listen. Like if we were playing Stockport County, then I could listen to JK because he's not that biased. Obviously, he goes mental when we score goals and stuff like that. But I think JK certainly does. He does his research, doesn't he? He definitely looks up and says what players are called, how players are pronounced, and things like that.
Yeah. Do you think he's too balanced, though? Do you think he should be a bit more county? I don't know.
But no, because if you listen to these other commentators, it winds me up.
Yeah, it's cringy actually, isn't it? If you listen to the other commentators,
to the point, quite a few times, if I've got to watch an opposition stream, I will put it on silent and I will put county player on so I can listen to JK, and I will like pause it and then wait until there's that specific incident so I can press play again and I'm in sync with JK commentating on the game.
Like, you got your routine down to the T there. I mean, the commentators should be balanced as best they can. And obviously, we know it's a close commentator, so we know that obviously it's going to be an element of bias or favouritism. That's natural. But as long as it doesn't overshadow the basics of, getting players' names right, calling plays correctly and so on, that's the full priority for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a basic in it as well, so fair dues. Right, cool. That was getting reses.
Have you got to get in the reses, Russ?
No, I've not really thought of one, to be honest. So I'm not, no. So I'll have one for next week. I'm sure. Something.
Sure you won't.
Do you know
sure
what?
You won't.
Well, do you know what? I'll go and watch the rest of the Carabao Cup after this match. After this podcast, now something will annoy me, and enough.
Write it down because we know what your memory's like.
This is true. Right. If you are a Patreon, stick around because you are going to be in the draw right now. So let's get this done. If you're not a Patreon, then do consider it. All of our content ad-free, and you will get access to all of our special podcasts. We've got
some cracking ones coming up.
We've got some crackers coming up. We have got some crackers, and we've got a meeting on Friday as well that would make it even more of a cracker, if that makes sense. So if you're not a patron, do consider it and get paying. It's only £3 a month, as I say, everything ad free, and you lucky people, you get entered into this this giveaway. So let me just share my screen.
While you're doing that, Gazendo's got your getting the reses. Trying to get a word in on Barnsley's podcast might be one for you, Russ.
Oh. Thanks for that, Gazendo, because lovely guy, Andy. He was a lovely guy. Yeah. So let's do it. All the names are down there, right? We've got over 100 paying Patreon members, which is fantastic. All the names are on there. Everybody's back in the hat for this. So let's spin the wheel. I love this. Spinning the wheel, and it's gonna come out at Ben Robinson. Congratulations, Ben Robinson. We will be in touch, and we can get your prize claimed. Excellent stuff, and thanks for being a Patreon.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Excellent. Right. I think we're just about done. Mike, thank you very much for joining us again.
Yep. Cheers, Mike.
Thank you again. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you.
No worries. And Waggy, I'll see you early doors on Saturday. Well, say early. It's an early kickoff, isn't it? That's what I said. That.
Yeah. Just remind Andy that it's a 12:30 kickoff.
Yeah. Reminding everybody, actually. Yeah, it's a 12:30 kickoff. So if you are abroad, please bear that in mind. Central European time, or if you're in the US or Australia or wherever you listen to us on. Do that. Cheers, thank you, and we will see you probably in the courtyard on Saturday.
Cheers.
See you later.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Scarf Bagara War. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can catch us every week on your favourite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts. And a huge thank you to all of our Patreon members. Your contributions help keep the show running to bring the content you love. If you'd like to support the podcast and get access to exclusive special guest episodes, ad-free podcasts, and a monthly giveaway, head over to patreon.com/the Scarf Bagara War. And don't forget to follow us on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and more. You can find us on X, Facebook, and Instagram, all at County Podcast. Lastly, if you enjoyed the show, please leave us a review and share it with your fellow County fans. Your feedback helps us improve and reach more listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Scarf Bagara War. Come on, County!